adventure has a name. It must be Indiana Jones. In a trilogy of remarkable films, Indy has pursued the world's ultimate goals and confronted the most deadly obstacles.
We got company!
And in the end, Indy has always triumphed. This classic hero recently became a part of history when actor Harrison Ford presented Indy's brown fedora to the Smithsonian Institution.
I think that he's an effective character. He's the kind of person that makes things happen.
Indiana Jones follows in the tradition of both movie heroes and true-life adventurers. In the next hour, we'll travel behind the scenes to explore Indy's latest quest, and we'll journey beyond the screen to meet some real-life adventurers. From the Harvard scholar who dared to enter the secret society of voodoo, to the courageous explorer who witnessed the rituals of headhunters, there are battles of man versus nature, expeditions to the ends of the earth, and the challenge of conquering the oceans in between. You'll see the amazing discovery of treasures from the past and a look at the future with a new generation. In the world of adventure, the obstacles become challenges, the quests become obsessions, and it all begins with Indiana Jones. Everybody dreams of living a life of adventure, of traveling to exotic locations, confronting the challenge, and experiencing the moment of discovery. Well, Indiana Jones embodies all the qualities of a great adventurer, and like his real-life counterparts, he pursues his quest with single-minded determination. Now, he may crack his whip once in a while, but it's all in the name of adventure. And for Indy, fighting the battle is half the fun.
Why are you trying to kill us? Tell me! If you don't let go of the door, we'll both die! And we'll die! Cut all camera signals!
Indiana Jones is a character created for the movies by filmmakers Steven Spielberg and George Lucas. Their quest started almost a decade ago when they set out to create a unique hero with a sense of humor. Indy began as a professor of archaeology whose thirst for knowledge draws him into a life of adventure.
What makes him a hero is his tenacity. When he goes after something, he just wears blinders to everything around him, including the dangers that surround an archaeological expedition.
He has a real love of archaeology, and I think that ultimately is the one thing that motivates him. His love of the great mysteries, his love of wanting to discover ancient cultures and the artifacts of these cultures.
Indy's fictional discoveries occurred during a period that is considered the heyday for real-life adventure. From the early 1900s to the 1940s, advances in technology and transportation allowed those with an adventurous spirit to follow their dreams and share them with the rest of the world.
Dateline, Egypt, February 16th, 1923.
The most astounding discovery of this period came when archaeologist Howard Carter uncovered the 3,000-year-old tomb of Egyptian pharaoh Tutankhamun. The priceless treasures found within captured the attention of scholars around the world.
Archaeology is the search for fact, not truth. If it's truth you're interested in, Dr. Tyree's philosophy class is right down the hall.
Indiana Jones himself is driven by a scholarly interest in archaeology. And in pursuing his interests, Indy often travels outside the classroom, finding himself in a number of adventurous situations. A present-day adventurer who shares much in common with Indy is Harvard scholar Wade Davis, a man whose exotic studies have taken him around the world. From the Amazon rainforest to the jungles of Haiti, Davis's encounters with danger have given him a reputation as a real-life Indiana Jones.
The Indiana Jones thing is just great fun. I mean, it's a wonderful fantasy. I love the idea that he's a scholar who also has adventures and has fun. I'm very fortunate in that I've been able to find a way to experience the thrill of adventure, the quest of the search, and the satisfaction of the discovery in a format that I can actually make a living at it.
While working on his PhD at Harvard, Wade's studies led to 4 years of research on the voodoo culture in Haiti. He proved the existence of zombies by discovering the powerful drug used by voodoo priests.
I came back with a drug which could lower the metabolic rate so profoundly that you could actually misdiagnose someone as dead when they were in fact just drugged. That's my specific assignment. That's what I came back with. What intrigued me about Haiti, though, was the fact that suddenly I was in a place where people walked in and out of their spirit realm with ease and impunity. When you see, for the first time, completely sane and ordinary people, possessed by their spirit, handling burning embers, it cracks certain mirrors of my scientific rigidity. I mean, it was a very interesting thing to be doing a PhD at Harvard while you're going into places that took you beyond your imaginings.
One of Wade's most fascinating experiences came during his visit to a run-down movie theater in a small northern town.
And you have to understand that people that don't know television and don't know a two-dimensional world don't see movies as entertainment. They see it as a piece of life coming down in front of them. So they don't watch a movie, they enter a movie. The movie that night was the first Indiana Jones movie. And everything on the screen was reality. And so when you reach the end of the movie, when the effervescent thing comes out of the Ark of the Covenant, I mean, that was the spirit realm coming to life. It was all the most darkest forces of black magic. So suddenly the place broke out into pandemonium, and there were shouts like, "Pregnant women, tie a yellow ribbon on your left elbow. Children out the back door," and the whole place scattered out to the street.
The Ark of the Covenant served as an honorable quest in Indy's first adventure. In this latest film, the stakes are raised as Indy pursues the ultimate treasure, the Holy Grail. He's joined in the search by his father, Dr. Henry Jones, played by Sean Connery.
Junior? Don't call me that, please.
Shot, next shot.
Having played James Bond, Sean Connery is no stranger to adventure. However, his character in this film is a professor, unaccustomed to the world of danger.
You call this archaeology? Get out of there, Dad!
This unlikely team is reluctantly drawn together to battle some dark and sinister forces.
The quest for the Grail is not archaeology. It's a race against evil. If it is captured by the Nazis, the armies of darkness will march all over the face of the earth. Do you understand me? This is an obsession, Dad. I never understood it. Never.
A quality shared by every great adventurer is their obsessive behavior. Nothing can stand in the way of their goals. Consider Dushan Jersey, a man so obsessed with studying headhunters on the South Pacific island of Borneo that he nearly became one of their victims. Dushan persevered and became the first man to return alive from an encounter with the feared Iban tribe.
When I go in an expedition, I'm looking for different things. I'm looking for something that will help me to grow emotionally. And danger is part of it.
Dushan's journey would take him into the uncharted jungles of Borneo, where he faced a hostile environment full of perils.
We were literally attacked by clouds, dark clouds of malaria-carrying mosquitoes. Also leeches from the morning to the night. They've been finding leeches everywhere. They go everywhere.
It was astonishing. For special ceremonies such as a wedding, a birth, or a harvest, Iban tradition required that a head be taken. While Dushan was allowed to live among the Iban, he was still an outsider. It was soon apparent how vulnerable he became.
One day, something felt strange in the village. People stopped talking to me. Something was about to happen. My uneasiness grew.
The villagers were getting ready for an important ritual, and they would need a human head. The young warriors would probably take mine.
As Dushan became the headhunter's likely victim, he desperately searched for a way to protect himself. The only solution was to become a member of the tribe by initiation. The natives tested Dushan's manhood by placing him in a pit of deadly ants. Then they hunted him through the jungle for 3 days and nights. Finally, he was rewarded with the tattoos of a warrior.
I swore more than ever that if I survive that, it's over, I will find a job in a bank, and my only holidays would go to the beach if it's not more than 5 miles from my house.
Dushan was saved, but not so for an unlucky tribesman from a neighboring village. The Iban had claimed another victim. Dushan Jersey finally observed the ritual he had come to see, having barely survived his own encounter with the deadly headhunters.
How can you appreciate life if you don't go on the edge of where life could stop? And that is what attracts me, what pushes me to go and to challenge myself. I am just prisoner of my dreams, and danger is part of it.
The perils are many in the world of real-life adventure and the world of movie making. Next, to look at some spectacular movie stunts and a deadly face-off between man and nature as our profile for adventure continues.
This Grail tablet speaks of deserts and mountains and canyons. It's pretty vague. Where do you want to start looking?
For many adventurers, the nature of the quest leads them to the far corners of the earth, whether it be navigating the oceans, forging through rainforests, or crossing uncharted deserts. Adventure knows no boundaries. It's the lure of adventure and the promise of discovery that leads Indiana Jones to the most exotic locations. Over the course of 3 movies, the filmmakers have traveled to 4 continents, shooting in 9 countries, including Nepal, Tunisia, Macau, Sri Lanka, and Spain.
We're dealing with an archaeologist here, and therefore he's got to constantly be going to places where archaeological artifacts exist. And they exist all over the world in different points. And I think the exotic locales and backdrops enhance the movie enormously.
For Indy 3, the cast and crew traveled to the authentic archaeological site of Petra in a remote section of Jordan. Much of this ancient city was carved directly out of solid mountain rock, and it served as a perfect final resting place for the Holy Grail. For the filmmakers, shooting in and around this desert city was a grueling experience, with temperatures often rising into the hundreds. The heat affected everyone, but some more than others.
Okay, this is where we make a hard turn left to right. It's the same as this one, only the other shoulder. Okay?
Indiana Jones has faced the harshest of conditions as adventurers taken him from the scorching Sahara to the freezing Himalayas. Nature is simply one of the many obstacles he has encountered. In the battle of man versus nature, survival is the main goal, whether in the movies or in real life.
That wasn't so bad, wasn't it?
For many real-life adventurers, nature provides the ultimate challenge. Sir Ranulph Fiennes, described by the Guinness Book of Records as the world's greatest living explorer, has faced the ultimate and natural obstacles on his wilderness expeditions. For Rand, each adventure must meet certain requirements.
They have to have a certain clarity of objective, a definite physical challenge. They've got to be a very worthy obstacle, otherwise we don't take them on.
His greatest accomplishment came when he circumnavigated the globe without the use of air travel. Crossing every terrain imaginable, the course took him around the world vertically, from the South Pole to the North Pole, in a single 3-year journey. Rand and his team faced a range of seemingly insurmountable obstacles as they set out on their voyage. Historically, other adventurers had attempted similar feats. However, in these early battles of man versus nature, nature wore the laurels of victory.
There's a sort of common line between the historic explorers, which is usually a desire to go and see what lies beyond the furthest mountain, a sort of curiosity which is built in.
One of Rand's childhood heroes was British explorer Ernest Shackleton, whose goal was to cross and chart Antarctica. In a specially designed wooden schooner, aptly christened the Endurance, Shackleton and his crew of 28 met the challenge head-on. However, midway through the voyage, Mother Nature took the upper hand. The Endurance became wedged in the middle of the ever-shifting ice and was eventually crushed to kindling by the pressure of the glacial freeze. Shackleton and his men survived, but the forces that defeated their mission would 60 years later turn their unrelenting fury on Rand Fiennes.
You've got to work on yourself in order not to even think about failure. Your whole mind is focused on the policy of getting around the obstacles and the strategy of the next hour of how you're going to get round it. And that's what takes up every moment of your thinking time.
Though he faced a variety of harsh weather conditions during the expedition, it was the North and South Poles that provided the toughest natural obstacles.
In the Arctic, it's just thin ice on sea, which is maybe 17,000 feet deep, and if you fall in, you don't have all that long to live, so you try not to fall in.
Weakened by the sun, the massive ice floes would constantly shift and move.
The ice is great for people with no imagination. Any imagination at all is big trouble, because the noise of the movement of the ice makes you start thinking bad thoughts. And that is a sure way of not getting any sleep at all.
The conditions at the South Pole posed an entirely different threat.
When you're traveling in the Antarctic, the danger is to fall down a crevasse, which is covered by snow, and there's no way of knowing where the crevasse is until you've trodden on it and fallen into it, then you know where it was.
With several close calls behind him, Rand underscores the need for single-minded determination.
It's the challenge of the moment which has got to be defeated. You just keep at that and you try again and again until either it defeats you or you defeat it.
And in the end, it was this determination that helped his crew to triumph.
Let's hope it's the last one.
On an expedition, when you suddenly realize that for whatever planning you might have done, you've gone wrong, it would be nice to have some sort of stuntmen available. But of course, in real life, there aren't any stuntmen around, so you've got to face it yourself.
Indiana Jones faces many life-threatening situations as he overcomes his obstacles, but he has a distinct advantage, a complete team of stuntmen and technicians.
Okay, this rehearsal.
Stand by.
Be a rehearsal.
Second unit directors Frank Marshall and Mickey Moore are part of the team that makes the illusion of danger appear so real.
Stunts are an integral part of these kind of movies, mainly because they're action-adventure movies, and the action part of it is really stunts. We take a lot of time to storyboard and plan out our stunts and go through them very carefully. So the real trick is to have it look dangerous but be safe.
Another key member of the troupe is veteran Vic Armstrong, who has served as Harrison Ford's stunt double since the original Raiders of the Lost Ark. Together they fulfilled the requirements for the perfect actor-stuntman team.
They have to be about the same size.
Yeah, exactly.
And look about the same, and that's a real advantage with Vic, because we do, my wife spent several nights with him by accident.
Lastly, the special effects experts create state-of-the-art mechanical effects, like an earthquake for Indy 3.
Here we go. Action.
The problem you can sometimes run into on stunts is that they get so spectacular or so big and so complicated that you lose sight of the character in it. And we try and keep the character in the fight and get enough pieces on me so that you know that it's really Indiana Jones doing it.
The best moments in Indiana Jones's personality, the best character moments come within an action sequence. A look, an expression after a punch, a shrug after a gag. I mean, it's all part of the same panache. So it's very, very important that Harrison does get involved in some of the fisticuffs. The dangerous stuff, certainly not. But the stuff that's reasonable, Harrison loves to do.
Hardest thing is to keep your head on. That should do it.
Harrison had to do more than just keep his hat on for the film's crucial tank chase across the desert. In this scene, the stunt duties would be divided between Vic and Harrison. The more challenging jumps and falls would be handled by Vic. As shooting progressed, the teamwork between director, actor, and stunt coordinator became more critical. The climax of the scene demanded that Harrison himself be sandwiched between a 25-ton moving tank and a solid mountain wall. Even for a seasoned veteran, the first run-through confirmed how realistic this action would be. As always, Indiana Jones succeeded with precise coordination and the help of a few hundred technicians. After having his face scraped, his head dusted, and his body battered, Harrison faced one last obstacle: being drowned under torrents of water. himself stranded in the middle of the ocean in a life and death struggle with the forces of nature. In real life, man is dwarfed by the challenge of the high seas. Imagine sailing around the world on a solo voyage, braving the most dangerous conditions alone, spending more than 6 months with no human contact whatsoever. Meet Dodge Morgan, a successful businessman from Maine whose quest began more than 25 years ago.
Insofar as the voyage is concerned, it was a dream that I had when I was about 30, that I would one day make a significant sail alone with a boat specifically designed for the job. When I was 53, I got to keep that promise.
Leaving his wife and children behind, Morgan set out from Bermuda in his custom-built vessel, American Promise. The boat was equipped with 6 automated cameras to chronicle the voyage.
Oh, you should see us move out. 9 3/4 to 10 1/2 knots.
As he trekked across the Atlantic, Morgan faced a number of obstacles, including fierce and unexpected storms.
One would think maybe that the most difficult moments were the storms, but in fact, the most difficult moments were in the calms. There's nothing, I don't think, more debilitating than to be on a small sailboat with no wind.
Why is it that in the roaring 40s we have to have no wind? And when we do have wind, it ain't out of the west. All right, calm down. Stay with it. 1 hour at a time.
For Morgan, the most difficult aspect of the trip was spending more than 5 months away from his family, alone.
It's almost like sensory deprivation. One day is like the other, is like the other, is like the other, and sailing alone is just me and time. Time.
Morgan kept his sanity with the help of occasional visits from dolphins swimming alongside the boat.
During the voyage, because there was really so little evidence of life of any kind, when I did have that evidence, it was very, very heartwarming.
After 109 days, Morgan passed the southernmost point of his voyage, Cape Horn.
Passing the Cape was the high moment. I was back in my own ocean and heading back north.
We have traveled 18,500 miles for this landfall, and so it's time for us to have a little celebration. This one is for American Promise, a truly great boat.
5 weeks later, Morgan arrived back in Bermuda, 150 days after he left, breaking all previous records and fulfilling a dream that began a quarter century earlier. The time Dodge Morgan spent alone made the reunion with his wife and children all the more emotional.
When I got back, it was just an immense thrill to be with them. And the family actually came closer together as a result of that voyage.
Family becomes an important element to Indiana Jones as he gets reacquainted with his father on his latest adventure. As is often the case, individuals are drawn together in pursuit of the same goal.
Junior, you did it.
No, Dad, you did.
Besides his father, Indy is united on this mission with Dr. Elsa Schneider. Women have often served as Indy's partners in adventure.
I think that Indiana Jones loves women, but he has a job to do.
Always knew someday you'd come walking back through my door.
Karen Allen was a pretty good partner. She was a peer to him. They were pretty equal.
I need one of the pieces your father collected.
In the second picture, the torch singer, Willie Scott, was much more of a spoiled rich girl who didn't like being in the jungle.
I was just completely surrounded. The entire place was crawling with living things.
That's why they call it the jungle, sweetheart.
In this movie, the girl has a much more complicated purpose.
What do you think is going on here? Since I met you, I've nearly been incinerated, drowned, shot at, and chopped into fish bait.
Elsa Schneider is an art historian, a very strong-willed lady. She is, in my mind, quite similar to Harrison or to Indy, whereas he goes out and gets what he wants, and she's the same.
Just like the women before her, Elsa finds herself entangled in Indy's adventure.
Are you crazy? Don't go between them! Go between them! Are you crazy?
Whoever is Indy's partner in adventure can be sure of one thing. Humans won't be their only adversaries. Next, a close encounter with some deadly critters. Obstacles faced by adventurers come in all shapes and sizes, and who can say what we might find right around the very next corner? Now, while tackling these obstacles takes a great deal of physical skill, there is one hurdle that we sometimes can't overcome. Our worst fears.
I step on something.
Yeah, there's something on the ground.
During his lifetime of adventure, Indiana Jones has come face to face with many members of the animal kingdom, including bugs, crocodiles, lions, elephants, monkeys, rhinos, and tarantulas. But there is only one creature he truly fears.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
While Indy tries to avoid snakes at all costs, one man has spent his entire life making them his career.
My name is Bill Haas of the Miami Serpentarium Laboratories, and we produce venom for Venom Research, and we've been doing that for many, many years. My first recollection, when I was a little kid, collecting garter snakes, which are harmless species. And I collected those up until I was about 12. And then at a Boy Scout camp, I got involved with poisonous snakes. I collected and had snakes almost all my life as a hobby, up until the 1940s. And then I got seriously involved and made a business of it.
Over his 50-year career, Haast has studied snakes from the jungles of the Congo to the mountains of India. The venom he has collected is used as an antidote and has saved the lives of thousands of snakebite victims. The years of deadly confrontations have left Haast with lightning-quick reflexes. Unfortunately, his reflexes have not always proved quick enough.
Throughout this career of mine, I've been bitten 148 times, and by numerous species. About 17 times I was carried into the hospital horizontal.
Saved by his own vaccinations, Haast lives to tell the tale.
I think I'm fortunate. Too many people are, square pegs and round holes in making a living. And I'm very fortunate. My hobby is my living.
While Indy has confronted many snakes in his own career, his latest adventure introduces a new menace.
Oh, rats.
As part of Indy's quest for the Grail, the filmmakers would recreate the sewers of Venice.
Yeah, Frank, that was the best one. Great.
Spielberg's plan was of the sort that nightmares are made.
We can put about 3,000 rats in this one holding tank and then open up the door and have them all at once just pour into this room. And that way we'll get a very instant effect of, it's a rat stampede. It looked like the Oklahoma land rush with rats.
The number of rats required for the scene was enormous. But for one man, Spielberg's request was not unexpected.
For Raiders, I was asked to find 20,000 snakes. And for the Temple of Doom, it was 50,000 bugs. And then about December of this year, I was asked to find 1,000 of these sewer rats.
The order grew to 3,000, and then to 5. An entire warehouse became an enormous rat kennel, and a unit of top-notch rat wranglers was brought on to herd the beast to and from the set.
Let's put a few more rocks there.
To realize Spielberg's vision of a vile and decaying environment, the rats would infest virtually every inch of the set. No stone would be left uncovered.
Well, I think that's sausage.
For the safety of the cast and crew, each rat had been certified free of disease, but for some, the scene was still unsettling.
I was nervous. But everybody's nervous. I think Harrison's even nervous. I'm walking along a ledge, and all of a sudden I feel something behind me, and I go to turn around, and I go, "Ah!" like this, to the rat. And the rat looked at me and went, "Ah!" And we both went our separate ways.
Get the rats, guys!
Although at first it was an uneasy alliance, the cast would eventually warm to their furry co-stars.
You dirty rat. You dirty rat.
Just like their human counterparts, the rats had their own stunt doubles for the more dangerous scenes.
We have a big fireball sequence, and we really don't want to burn those poor little live rats, so we're going to burn up our big rubber rats instead.
1,000 mechanical rats were specially built to create the frantic, fiery stampede.
This one is a rubber band rat, which is working similar to airplane propellers. And we just wind this one up, just like a model airplane. And then you let it go. Gives a very good effect.
Confronted with a scorching fireball and a stampede of wild rats, Indy must do some quick thinking. Indy always comes up with clever ways of escaping the most hopeless situations.
Dad! Oh, Dad! Oh, Dad! Oh! Head for the fireplace! Here we go! Get ready!
Whatever the danger, Indy's ingenuity always sees him through.
I didn't know you could fly a plane! Why, yes! Land? No!
Ingenuity is a quality shared by every great adventurer, along with a spirit of innovation. The goal of real-life aviator Gina Yeager was to fly around the world non-stop on a single tank of gas, and she had to create the technology to pull it off.
This was the last major frontier in general aviation. It had never been done before. The farthest anyone had ever gone was about halfway around the world. It's in a B-52. And that's about as far as our technology has taken us. So we took a clean sheet of paper and just came with a completely new idea.
With a background in aerospace design, Yeager and partner Dick Rutan were attempting a feat that many thought was out of reach.
People came to me and said, "Well, you can't do that. It's impossible." I'd say, "That's all right. We're going to do it anyway." And you just keep at it and come up with a solution.
Their answer was a revolutionary aircraft named Voyager. The streamlined plane was in essence a flying gas tank and would take 6 years to build. On the morning of December the 14th, 1986, Yeager and Rutan set out on their historic flight. But even before they were airborne, the project was in jeopardy. Fully loaded with fuel for the first time, Voyager's wingtips were unexpectedly dragging. 14,000 feet of runway later, the plane was airborne, but had suffered severe damage to its vertical stabilizers. For several minutes, it was unsure whether the flight would continue, but when the wingtips sheared off with no loss of stability, Yeager and Rutan decided to forge ahead. Over the next 10 days, they would take turns piloting Voyager. From here on, they would be at the mercy of the elements and the fragile machine they had built.
It was as much a physical challenge as it was a technical challenge. I think the adrenaline helped us as much as anything, keeping us above that fatigue level. But we probably averaged maybe 2 or 3 hours a day in sleep.
Along the way, they would encounter a number of mechanical problems, but none more serious than when their fuel gauge broke.
We had no idea how much fuel was in the airplane. And from what our records showed, we were below. We could not make the world flight. So we were talking whether we should continue on. And I just told him, let's go as far as we can.
The last 4,000 miles of the journey were made on hope and faith. 2 days before Christmas, Gina Yeager realized her dream. Voyager touched down 9 days, 3 minutes, and 44 seconds after takeoff.
It was a lot of hard work, but it was well worth every challenge. and it was worth, as we felt, our lives to achieve this accomplishment. I am just testing my own capabilities. Now, see, can I do that? And I can.
Teamwork was a key to the success of Yeager's mission. It takes an effective team to pull off any quest, as Indy has found in his many adventures.
Short round. Step on it.
Oh, you potato!
In the world of real-life adventure, it's the combination of teamwork and persistence that spells success. The quest of treasure hunter Mel Fisher and his dedicated team of divers was to find the Etosha, a Spanish galleon that sank off the coast of Florida in 1622, carrying 47 tons of gold and silver.
I thought, well, this will be a real easy one. It's in 50 feet of water, and it's all sitting there in one pile, and I could probably grid out that area and find it in about 2 or 3 months. But it didn't quite work out that way. Little did I know it would take me 17 years to find the thing.
It all started as a simple idea. Mel and his crew of 10 would spend 1 year searching for sunken treasure where the Etosha was thought to have gone down.
We went for 360 days without finding anything. It was very perplexing, and then I invented a machine that dusts away the seashells and the sand, and turned that thing on for 15 minutes. And talk about a successful invention, that was it. It blew away all the sand, and there was thousands of these gold doubloons. Just dazzling, blinding, beautiful, just all over the place, carpeted with gold doubloons.
But the first gold coins were a mere fraction of the mother lode still hidden on the ocean floor. Fisher would spend the next several years following small trails of wreckage that often led nowhere. Several times during the search, he felt incredibly near, at one point uncovering 3 cannons positively identified as coming from the Etosha. But the location of the main treasure remained a mystery, and then halfway into the mission, tragedy struck.
One of our salvage boats capsized and sank, and it took my son and some others with it. I thought about, it really isn't worth it, and I figured, well, I know my son would have wanted me to keep on going and finishing the job, and we kept it going.
Vowing to find the treasure no matter how long it took, Fisher resumed the search. The years stretched on and on.
Every day during that time, I told all my divers and the people working with me, today's the day. And sure enough, one day it was.
Almost 2 decades after he set out on the search, Mel Fisher discovered the mother lode. Solid gold pieces of almost 24-karat purity, intricate gold chains, rare emeralds, and over 1,000 silver bars weighing 70 pounds each. Mel's 17-year quest ended in victory, but like every great adventure, it was not an easy task.
It's a challenge every bit of the way. You just don't get it. You got to go for it.
Next, a look at the future of adventure.
Sharing your adventures is an interesting experience.
The Last Crusade may be Indiana Jones' final quest, but his spirit of adventure lives on. The next generation of real-life heroes is exploring new frontiers, carrying a message of peace.
Okay, Tony, you're cleared for takeoff.
While most 4th graders are busy with homework, 11-year-old aviator Tony Aliangina brings adventure to the global level with an idea of his own, the friendship flight.
I want to fly around the world because I really like flying, and my dad said, the only way you can do it is think of a good reason. So I came up with the friendship flight idea. I wanted to help promote peace between the U.S. and Russia.
Tony's plan was an ambitious one. He would gather signatures from children across America, putting together a message of peace to present to the Soviet people. After 21 days and 17 stops, Tony landed in Moscow to a hero's welcome, presenting his friendship scroll to the Soviet people.
Здравствуйте, товарищ Горбачев. Я рад, что прилетел в Россию.
What is the true meaning of adventure for this young pioneer?
My definition of an adventure is someone who does something that no one's done before.
Adventure. Well, it means different things to different people, but as we have seen, there are certain qualities shared by all great adventurers. Taking risks, overcoming obstacles, achieving the impossible, all are at the center of a life of adventure. Indiana Jones and his real-life counterparts are an inspiration to all of us who dare to make our dreams come true.
No, just another day at the office.
Hi, this is Pat Sajak. Hope you join us tonight. It's Comedy Night. Tee-hee, tee-hee. Paul Rodriguez will be here. Lorraine Newman, Harry Shearer, Jeff Bolden, Gary Delina. Laughs aplenty. See you tonight.
Now get ready for Patrick Duffy and a case that involves greed, double identities, and the perfect murder. Unholy Matrimony next. And remember, only 2 days to go for CBS Spectacular Sunday. Mark your calendars for a night of special excitement Sunday on CBS.
To learn more about enduring heroic figures in their quest, the Library of Congress suggests these books. The Adventurer, The Fate of Adventure in the Modern World by Paul Zwig, Gods, Graves, and Scholars by C.W. Saran, and Quest for Adventure by Chris Bonington. These and many other interesting books are waiting for you at your local library and bookstore. Visit them. They'll be happy to help you read more about it.